Hey everyone, welcome to my Git tutorial. I want to show you the basics of Git. So the first step is to actually create a repository, and I will use GitHub for that. So I want to make a template repository for my engine, for my game jam, which I will link down below so you can participate if you want to. So okay, it's public, and I want to add a README file, and I want to add a git ignore template, and I will use C++ for that. And since my engine is already MIT licensed, I will use the MIT license as well. So now you can see I have a simple repository on GitHub now. So the repository is now created, and now I need to clone it to actually get it onto my computer to be able to work on it. So for that, I will open terminal. And okay. So make it a little more beautiful for you and better to read. So I have to click on this code button here, and I have to copy the SSH link. If I use HTTPS, then it's only read-only, and I can't change anything remotely. So it's going to be SSH. And in some cases, if you haven't set it up on GitHub yet, then you might need to put an SSH key onto GitHub, but there's a tutorial by GitHub itself, so it's not very complicated, and it can be done on Windows and on Linux and on Mac, of course. Okay, I copy that and I type in git clone, and I need the link that I just copied. Then it's going to download the repository, and it's going to create a new directory with the name of the repository. So in this case, tftech3 template. So it's here. I have to go inside the repository directory, and yeah, now you can see I have the license and the readme.md. So I have the files that are here now. Okay, what step is next? So since I know I have to change something in the git ignore because of my engine, and I will use obj models, so I will change something in the git ignore. In this case, it's more of a demonstration, because in reality this can be anything. You're going to work on your code and you will change something. So I will open Sublime. So now Sublime is open, and I want to remove this line because it's going to annoy me if I'm working with obj models. Then they won't be tracked by Git. And I want to add the build directory, which I'm going to need because I'm using CMake very often, and you're creating a build directory with CMake very often. So you don't want to keep your build files and object files inside the repository tracked by Git. Okay, I'll save it. And the next step is to actually add these changes. So I will use git add and a simple dot because I'm currently only in this directory. So now Git knows about my changes, and I will need to commit them. This is why I'm using git commit and m or -m with with a message. So what will I write as a commit description? I will write updated git ignore in this case. Then my commit is almost ready. It's already made locally. So the last step is to push it to the remote version of the repository. And I will use git push for that. And voila! I pushed my first commit. And if I update my GitHub site now, you can see update git ignore. And if I click onto the git ignore file, you will see my changes are there. And this is basically everything you need if you're working alone on a Git project. If you're working with other people, it gets a little bit more complicated because you have to merge. But if you're working alone on a project, this is basically everything you need. And I hope that helped. And I will link this SSH key addition thing to GitHub. I will link this down below. And if you're interested in my game jam, which will be held from the 8th of July to the 11th of July, I will put this link down below as well. And see you next time.